Knees and toes.
Does shoulders have to do with anything?
Because of what you did to my bold prediction. Yes, I'm taking this too far, but I don't care. We're
The
going.
noise is great for those who are audio only.
What's up, everyone, and welcome into a special edition of the Buffalo Sports Collective. Today, we welcome play-by-play broadcaster for the Halifax Thunderbirds, Pete Dalliday. Pete, thanks for jumping on with us, and how's it going?
Yeah, it's going good. It's just dealing with the cold temperatures here in Peterborough, Ontario. I'm sure just like you are, and hopefully it's a little warmer in Halifax this weekend. It's just strange to say, but the weather's been a little better out there than back here in Ontario and Western New York this year.
Yeah, I think I woke up to minus 13 Fahrenheit this morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a nice little surprise. But we're completing the Halifax Trifecta. We had Pat and Mackey on already this year. Now we got Pete on. So we got everybody from Halifax on the show. So we'll start it out. What is one word to describe the Thunderbirds season so far, 8 games in?
Oh boy, roller coaster, maybe. I don't know if that's 2 words or 1, but let's go with 1 for the sake of this. It's just been started up really good, as you know. I mean, 2-0, and things were great. A win in Buffalo, and things are looking awesome. And then taking a dive down, and then a brief, spot up again, and then back down again. So, let's go with roller coaster. How's that sound?
That works perfect. Yeah, we'll just hyphenate the word, combine it into 2.
If we have to.
Or
Yeah.
1, I should say. We'll start at the front gate. Clark Peterson and Randy Stotts are the 2 names that come to mind when talking about Halifax's offense. Last year, both guys went up and over 100 points. This year, they're both projected for below 75, though. So my question is the loss of Thomas Hogarth the main reason for the drop in production, or do you think there might be something else that might account for that?
Maybe a bit of both, but definitely. I mean, you take Thomas Hogarth out of the equation, which happened very early in the season. Funny story there. Thomas Hogarth is from Peterborough as well, and he had to come over to my house because I work, as you can see in the background here, for the Peterborough Lakers lacrosse team, and he had to come over to get a signed jersey or something that he was donating the week before the home opener, and I got this like steep driveway. And it was icy already, even, and I'm like, there's no way Thomas Hogarth can injure himself on my driveway like 4 days before the Halifax home opener, because I don't want that on me. So I'm like, be very careful, like just whatever you do. And he was fine. But like 3 nights later, he gets injured in the game. So that's a big loss. And I honestly think, with them, they might be closer to 500, and Clark Peterson and Randy would have, probably some more points, because Thomas Hogarth is going to move some bodies over there. He's going to create some room. And maybe more importantly, you have that sort of third guy out there that they have to, the defensive guys have to kind of focus on, because you don't know what Thomas Hogarth is ever going to do. So that would open up probably Randy and Clark a little bit. For some more looks and some better shots, and Randy's got a nifty way, or I should say Thomas, of moving the ball a little. You never know what he's going to do. So yeah, to answer your question, I think their points maybe are down a little bit because of the loss of Hoagie early in the season.
So Dawson Thied gets moved a couple weeks ago to Oshawa. That opened up a big opportunity for some minutes for a couple younger guys. And I think the first guy that comes to mind is Jason Knox. I mean, he scored 3 goals in the last time the Thunderbirds were on the field. How much does Halifax need a guy like Jason Knox to step up into that position, not only to replace the production that Dawson Thied is leaving behind, but also to continue that secondary scoring in general?
Yeah, it's really important, and one of the reasons I think they were comfortable moving Dawson Thied was because they knew they could get more out of Jason Knox, and if Dawson's not there, the ball's going to be in Knox's stick a bit more, or whoever the case may be on that side, whether it be a Robinson or whatever. But and it worked. I mean, he scored 3 goals. I think it was all in the first half, I think, of that Georgia game. So it was like instant, like, okay, this is working. I'm not sure he had as big of a second half, but nobody really did for Halifax that night. But it worked right away. So that's why they were comfortable, I think, moving Dawson Thied, and it's probably better in the long run for Thied. He's from that area, so it's been a good fit for them. But yeah, he was really good. And the thing about Jason Knox is, like, he's a big boy as well, and he can handle himself. And like that first goal he scored against Georgia, where he sort of like faked the pass and then boom in the back of the net. Like he brings different things. He can drive to the net a little bit, which he got on his second goal or third goal. Like, so yeah, it's going to get the ball into his stick a bit more, and perhaps a Mike Robinson and McLeod perhaps over on that side as well. So kind of a win-win a little bit, I think, at the end of the day on that trade. I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you. It sort of surprised me a bit, but I think it's probably a good fit for both parties.
Now, a player that made a name for himself in his debut is Will McLeod, putting up 4 in the first time you ever step on an NL field. We'll do that for you. Where have you seen the most growth in his game so far in his very young career?
Yeah, well, that was huge. Like, what a night that was. That's making your mark for sure. That's a career for some guys, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, he's got so much, ceiling, I guess the saying would be. Like, his ceiling is high, and I haven't had a great chance to see a lot of him yet. But the couple of games I did see him, you can tell he's feeling more comfortable each game. And when he gets now a bit more floor time and a bit more ball time as well, he's going to benefit from that. And honestly, I see him as a big part of, if they're going to have success here in the second half and they're going to make a run for things and try and get into the playoffs, then you're going to need a goal or two a game from a guy like that for sure.
Now, Mike Robinson has not taken that next step that I think the team and the rest of the league has been hoping for him this year. Is this just a simple sophomore slump for Mike, or do you think there might be something else that explains the dip in production so far this season?
Yeah, it could be. It could be that sophomore sort of situation. Again, as we talked about with Knox and McLeod, I mean, Mike should get the ball just a bit more now. And a few more looks. He likes to shoot the ball. Confidence is not an issue with Robinson in terms of taking shots. It's just kind of like, mixing it up a little bit and maybe a few bouncers here and there. Not everything has to go sort of top corner. And I've seen him score some nice bouncers over the years. So maybe just mixing up the shot selection. But I mean, there's still a lot of season left. We're kind of only at the halfway mark. So he has a chance here to kind of, pick up the production a little bit. But you're right. Sometimes you see that in the second year. A guy has a great rookie season, then offense, for whatever reason, dips a little bit. I'm not even sure what's behind that. I guess other teams become more aware of you, I guess. It'd be my guess, right? Like all of a sudden it's like, okay, the rest of the league knows who Mike Robinson is. They know where he likes to shoot. And maybe, the book is out on him a bit more, or any other sophomore players. I'm assuming that's the case in a lot of situations. So he's got a great shot. I see him here in the summertime as well. He's from Peterborough here, and he scored a huge goal against the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club in overtime to win a big series here. So he's fun to watch. He's got one of the best shots I've seen here in a long time.
So the team changed things up in their bye week and switched out their offensive coordinator. Do you expect to see a different type of system in place and maybe a change because they might have made that change in leadership there during the bye week on purpose? Or do you think it's just simply a fresh voice in the room to try to change things up on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, and it was too bad. Stu Montour's a good guy. I really like Stu, and I know he's well thought of by the organization, and they gave it the old, we wish Stu all the best. And I don't think that was just a cliche or something nice to say. Like, he's well respected. But again, it's just they're frustrated, I guess, and they want to change things up a little bit. And they think maybe just a new perspective. Obviously, that's the reason for the change. And whether they go, reinvent the wheel here and come in with a whole different offense mid-season, I don't know how easy that is to do in lacrosse. I mean, it'd be difficult, obviously, in football and some other sports, but would it be as crazy to run things totally different? I don't know. You see this happen sometimes just to spark the team a little bit. Unfortunately, it was at Stu's expense, but I personally do also want to wish him well. He's a good guy. I'm going to miss seeing him on the road, but yeah, I mean, something had to sort of give, I guess. They've never lost, I don't think, in my time with the team 3 in a row at home. It's just not like them. So shaking things up in the bye week and getting off to a fresh start this weekend against Buffalo.
So last one in terms of the offense for you. Who is an X factor this offseason? Or I'm sorry, in this offense this season that can maybe step up into a bigger role, or maybe somebody that's just going to free up and do the dirty work to get guys like a Mike Robinson or Will McLeod, or the guys on the right-hand side, and Clark Peterson and Randy Stott some more open looks on the offense?
Well, it could be okay. If we're talking righties, it could be Stephen Keogh, who they just brought in 2 weeks ago. Didn't play. I thought maybe they might try and slide him in the last home game against Georgia, but maybe it was just too soon. But he knows the system. Whatever offense they've decided on going moving forward. But Steven's played here before. He knows how to play with Randy and Clark. So, maybe it's a Stephen Keogh, who I haven't heard anything, but I would expect him maybe to get a look this weekend against the Bandits. Maybe some turf swipes, touches from Stephen Keogh this weekend. But I was thinking about this as well. Like, I know this may sound strange, but to say that Cody Jamieson is an X factor because he's such a star and one of the greatest players in franchise history, and everyone knows Cody's game, but he's kind of just quietly gone about kind of a sneaky season well into his 30s now. And I, honestly, like if it comes down to one power play or one possession with a timeout with 10 seconds to go, I'm pretty comfortable with Cody Jamieson having the ball. He's had a couple big games this year, and I think his numbers might be even better than what he was on pace for last year. So I know that may sound weird, Cody Jamieson as an X factor, but I'll pick him on the left side as the left-handed shot there.
So I got to ask, I usually ask some more personal questions to break these ones up, kind of get away from the team aspect of it. But was broadcasting something that you've always wanted to do for a living? Is talk behind the mic? Is that something that you've always wanted to do, or did something kind of draw you to that?
Yeah, my father drew me to it, yeah. To answer your question, yes, I've always wanted to do it. So my dad was a sportscaster here in Ontario, and mostly, the local sports, but, did a lot of lacrosse. He wasn't a lacrosse player, but my mom's side of the family is where sort of the lacrosse side came in. So, but my dad, being around it, ended up doing a lot of lacrosse games, Minto Cups, Man Cups, and I played growing up all the time. So the combination of that, and he did a lot of hockey, and then the two of us ended up working together with the Peterborough Petes. I would do play-by-play, and he did color, and we did that for 15 years. Saw the likes of, the Stahl brothers come through here, and, Patrick Coletta to put a Buffalo angle on it was a big part of the years that we broadcast. So I guess I came across it, honestly. I saw what he did, and it looked like a great gig. So, yeah, I kind of always wanted to do it, and I've done a lot of hockey, done a lot of lacrosse mostly, and it's great. My dad passed away in 2018, but I was thinking about this as well. Like, I don't think we actually did a lacrosse game together, which is kind of weird. I would have liked to have done that, but we did probably close to 1,000 junior hockey games together, side by side in the same booth. So, we miss him for sure. He would have loved the last couple of years of following the Bills. He kind of was a big Bills fan as well, and lived through. We watched those heartbreak Super Bowls, back in the day. But yeah, I always wanted to do it, and I have to pinch myself sometimes to, figure out that this is real. I'm getting paid to talk about lacrosse and to be part of what I think is one of the greatest sports in the world. So I'm really lucky and really fortunate.
We'll flip to the defensive side of the ball for Halifax now. Graham Hossack, he remains the steady leader back there, leading the team in caused turnovers and block shots. He's second in loose balls. When you're starting a defense out, how early do you think people are going to be calling his name to lead the back end for your team?
So, like, if you're starting an expansion team sort of thing? Is that
starting fresh. You got all the players available to you.
Yeah, no, for sure. He would be right there. I mean, he is a player that I wouldn't want to play against. I not that I was a great player, but I can't see myself getting many points if I had to go against Graham Hossack. He's just a large man. He's he's not. The thing about Graham though, he's not nasty in terms of like off the floor. He's like he's right off a farm here in Port Perry, Ontario, and is the nicest, sort of quietest guy you'll kind of meet. But get him on the field, whether that be field lacrosse or box lacrosse, just a cyborg, if you will, as he's been called, a human cyborg. I would start with him. There's maybe a couple other guys as well, but Graham Hossick could play defense for my lacrosse team at any time he wants, because he's that good. I don't know if you saw it, he hit Lyle Thompson a couple weeks ago with a hit.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, anyone else other than Lyle Thompson would still be on the turf. Lyle popped up a little slow, came back and actually scored the next shift, which was remarkable. I think only Lyle Thompson maybe could have done that, but that was a huge hit, and just a smart player. Still can't figure out what he's wearing for running shoes, what those things he wears on his feet are. You'll see them this Saturday, but they seem to work for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he got to come with the web toes or not? Is he leaving those behind?
Yeah. Whatever works, right? Sure.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I have to bring this player up every time I talk to somebody from Halifax, just because he's one of my favorite guys in the league to watch, and that's Ryan Tarafanko. If we're talking about the next wave of just ultra valuable players across this league, I think Tarafanko is kind of like the mold for it. Is he one of the most valuable pieces, not just in Halifax, but across the entire league for this new wave of speedy transition players?
Yeah, 100%. He is. If you go over a broadcast of ours, you'll hear the name Warren Hill a lot, and then you'll hear Terry's name a lot. He just has the ball in his stick so much because of either picking up loose balls or cause turnovers or just, picking up shots, rebounds off Warren. He's right there moving the ball up the floor. He scored a goal this year against the Rush from pretty much the restraining line, just inside it, like just a rocket. He had just come out of the penalty box, so he had some momentum, and he kind of took the feed and kind of just stepped into it. And there was no goalie in the league that was going to stop that one. It was quite from a distance, but he had so much on it. He's so much, he's so fun to watch, and he's very, all those Ohio State guys that play for Halifax, they're all really, they're tight knit. Jake Withers and Johnny Pearson and Tarafanko, and it's just it's fun to watch those guys, and they have each other's backs. But he is, he could play on any team in the league, obviously, and Halifax is lucky to have him for sure.
So a player that the average fan across the NLL might not know about is Colton Armstrong. For those that don't know much about his game, or might just be a fan of Saskatchewan or Vancouver, so on and so forth, that might just pay attention to their team and not the league, talk a little bit about him and what he brings to the defensive side of the ball for Halifax.
Yeah, well, first of all, Colton is a great example of a bit of a late bloomer, and he's a good example of some some kids that are playing lacrosse right now that feel like they're maybe not have a chance of playing in the NLL. Like Colton never played junior A lacrosse here in Peterborough, and mostly was a junior C player, but kind of had a growth spurt, got in the gym a lot, and I think got bigger, stronger, faster as he got 20, 21, 22 years of age. And, kind of came out of nowhere here. And it's just a great example if you want something bad enough and you work out and you're patient, you can your dream can come true. And he got that opportunity. He got called up when Halifax was still in Rochester, scored in his first game. And I don't think he's been out of the lineup since. Like, he's just been a huge part of what they do. And defensively, again, you don't notice him a whole lot, and that's not a bad thing for a defender. But then he can really move the ball. He can push it up really quick. He's fast. Most of his goals obviously are in transition. And he's just he's a great young man. He's got a young family now, and again, just a kind of a neat story where it didn't look like perhaps pro lacrosse was in his future, and then gets an opportunity and he hasn't looked back. So yeah, a name maybe a lot of people around the league may not know, but certainly he's become popular in Halifax and a fan favorite there, and a fan favorite here with the Peterborough Lakers for sure.
So, in my opinion, the biggest surprise this season is what we've seen from Warren Hill in net. I mean, fifth in goals against average, tied for third in save percentage. If it wasn't for what Brett Dobson's doing in Georgia and what Dylan Ward's doing in Colorado, would Warren Hill's name be in conversation for goalie of the year and one of the favorites to win it?
Yeah, probably. Well, if it wasn't for the two guys you just named as well, he might have two more wins under his belt because Halifax has faced those two goaltenders and Chiliano. Like, it seems like they, have faced the hottest goalies in the league in the first half of their schedule. So, yeah, he might have at least one more win or two if it wasn't for those other guys. We've seen some really good goaltending this year. Yeah, so Warren is just one of those guys that, again, maybe goalies, I think, mature a little bit, a little later, unless your name's Matt Vince. Otherwise, I think when guys hit 24, 25, 26 as a goalie is when they're starting to hit their peak. And Warren is in that zone right now where he just, the last couple of years has really come to into his own. And he has stopped a lot of shots. Like he's, I think Andrew Suter and Micah Kersey would like to see less shots fired his way and tighten things up defensively, but he's kept him into a lot of games, and he's been kind of like one of those pitchers where a couple of games he hasn't got a lot of run support, where he's done his job and he's faced 50-some shots or 60 shots and kind of gave them a chance to win, and perhaps his record should be a little better and up there with the league leaders, but it is what it is, and he's got a great backup, too, and Drew Hutchison, who, when called upon, Hutch can play very well, too. He even played a game a couple weeks ago. Warren had a bit of an off night against Colorado. They pulled him after 6 goals and put Drew Hutchison in, and Drew wasn't wearing any of his own gear. I don't know if you heard this story or not, but...
I did, yeah.
Yeah, his gear didn't arrive. Had to go to a sports store. The helmet he was wearing was like a traditional kind of hockey helmet that looked like he was playing road hockey. And he was wearing some of Warren's old gear that had been in Halifax, like in storage for 5 years, and played pretty good in it, really, to be honest with you. So, I think 1-2 punch, like, to be honest, I think Halifax has one of the best 1-2 goalie combinations in the league.
So I asked Mackie this before game one between Buffalo and Halifax, and I want to touch base with you on the same question. Last year, we saw Frank Chiliano find that consistency and put it all together and turned into a goalie of the year. And my question was, do you think Warren Hill is on that same trajectory? So 8 games through so far, are we seeing the same type of season that we saw through last year with Frank Chiliano with Warren Hill this year?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. Like, honestly, like, Warren is just looked real good. The one knock on him maybe in the past was I think maybe he was guilty of letting in some bombs from way out, and I think he's cut down on that a little bit this year. I haven't seen many like long distance from different area code type of goals go in on Warren. He's just been so fun to watch. Like, honestly, he's like a free goalie clinic some nights with Warren. So yeah, I mean, and those two have faced each other a lot. Chiliano and Warren Hill have seen a lot of each other. They've faced off twice already this year, going back into the playoffs last year too. So a good comparison for sure. And they're going to need him. They're going to need him to keep teams to under 10 for sure, and maybe even under or 9. The way the offense is kind of going at times this year. So he's more than capable of doing that for sure.
So the Winter Olympics is currently going on right now. Is there one sport that if you could compete in, that would be the one you would want to compete in? And why would that be that sport?
Well, I'd want to compete in hockey if I could, but that's, that wouldn't have happened. I think short track speed skating I'd be pretty good at, to be honest with you. I'm getting up there in age, but, if there's a senior division, I think I would do okay at short track speed skating. I can still move okay. Now, those are pretty big blades, so I don't know if I could, handle that. But, yeah, it's been fun to watch so far. It's still early in the Olympics, and I was lucky. I got to go to the '88 Olympics when I was a kid, basically, and on a school trip sort of thing. And I saw the Jamaican bobsled team and all those fun sort of things that were happening in '88. And I think bobsled would be the second one because I think they only really need me for like 6 seconds. You just got to push, and if you got some leg strength, then you just got to hop in. Like, I wouldn't be the pilot by any means. I wouldn't be up front, but I'd just hop in the back and go downhill. I could do that. So I'm gonna go with short track speed skating and bobsleigh. What about you?
I was thinking that or curling. I think curling would be pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
That was-
that'd be good. I've only curled, like, curling's huge here, but I've only probably curled like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, that'd be fun. I don't think I could do the mixed doubles though. There's just the 2 of them. That's a lot of sweeping. So I don't know. Anyway,
We'll get back into it now.
Yeah.
Bandits versus Thunderbirds Saturday night. It's a massive game because the loser likely is on their last legs to try to get in, because both teams would be, I should say the loser would be 3-6. What type of game are you expecting to see in the second of the 2-game series between these two teams?
Oh, it's I'm thinking, I don't know. It's hard to predict. If I had to guess, like an over and under, like I'm going to say the over and under should be like 21.5 or something. Like it could be a Matt Vince sort of Warren Hill 9-8 game. You know what I mean? That being said, there's some offensive weapons on both sides. So I hope it's a close game. Like I think it will be. But it's hard. I don't know. Both teams are desperate, as you say. Like this could be the season here. Like if both teams don't get things sorted out here quickly, it's probably not looking great. And then you're making decisions as the trade deadline comes up. Where are we at? What are we doing? It seems odd to talk about it that, both Halifax and Buffalo have been really, strong the last several seasons. So it seems weird to be even chatting about that and having that conversation. But Buffalo's one of those teams, if they do get in, as you know, I wouldn't want to play them in the first round of the playoffs. I don't care who you are. Like in a 1-game, one and done, even if they come in at 8th, I wouldn't want to play them. And Halifax could be scary if they get into the playoffs too. And so I don't know. Guys in Halifax we always try to predict the scores a little bit just for fun. And sometimes I'm pretty darn close. So I'm honestly, I'll go with a 10-9 low scoring affair, but who knows? I didn't think the Rochester-Vancouver game the other night would be like, there'd be over 30 goals in that one, plus a pregame brawl, or fight. So you never know in the NLL, but I think it's going to be a tight game. It's an important game, probably obviously it's the biggest game of the year at this point.
What area of Halifax's game do you think they might have the edge, or do have the edge over the Buffalo Bandits in to help them get this win on Saturday night?
And this is no disrespect to anybody, but I think if it's one of those games where you have to go to your backup goaltender, I'll go back to that. I honestly think putting in Drew Hutchison is a great option. That would be one. Home floor advantage here. I mean, they snuck a game out of Bandit land, so Buffalo's going to be trying to get that back. But the crowd of 10,500 in Halifax can make just as much noise as 18 in Buffalo. It's just a great place to play a home game in. So maybe the 6 man there a little bit might be a small factor too.
Yeah, playing in the Nest is that's one of the arenas that I desperately want to go to experience one of those games, because it seems insane there.
You're welcome anytime. I mean, the hospitality on the East Coast is incredible. There's so many great restaurants and pubs, and just everyone is super nice. So yeah, you're welcome anytime. Yeah, you got to get down and see a game in the Nest.
I'll try to convince my wife travel down there. She might be more interested in like a late April type of one instead of January and February.
That's the thing. Like my wife is actually coming down this weekend for the very first time. She's never been down, because it's like you're in and out. It's like you're there sometimes less than 48 hours, and it's so friggin' cold at times. It's like Halifax is great any time of the year, but you're right. Like if maybe they'll meet in the playoffs, and that's the time to bring her.
Exactly.
April, May would be ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to bring her up in January and February, and then I'm on the bad list for a while.
Yeah.
But what battle are you most looking forward to in this matchup? Could it be, the righties on Halifax's offense versus the kind of waiting to get Mitch Desnu back left side? Is it the goalie battle? Is it the face-off battle between Farrell and Withers? What matchup would be the one that your eyes are going to be glued to when you're broadcasting this game?
Can I say all the above?
Yeah, that works.
Like everything you just listed. I mean, right from the get-go, right from the dot. I mean, I think the draws are going to be epic to watch. There's going to be a few of those where they just continue to wrestle and battle for like 20 seconds before that ball pops out of the face-off circle. I mean, those guys are going to be fun to watch. The goalie battle is fun to watch, and you're right. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see what kind of game, especially if Stephen Keogh jumps in there. Again, I don't know the plan there, but what he'll bring in his return to the nest, whether it's this week or down the road. So that those battles and the tough Bandits D, yeah, it's going to be a heck of a lacrosse game, and it's a national game and on TSN, so it's a big deal. It's going to be a big night Saturday night.
Just two more for you here.
Yep.
For the Thunderbirds to get the win, this needs to happen. What do you think that is?
I think Clark Peterson needs to explode and have. I know he scored the game winner in overtime there down in Buffalo. I think he needs to have a 4-goal night. I think Randy Stotts, we'll go back to the start of our conversation, needs to have 3. It's a cliche, but their best players have to be their best players. And then, we talked about Knox. Okay, let's pencil him in for, again, another 2 or 3 goal game. And Jammer's always good for 1 or 2 against Buffalo. And then Warren has to be Warren. And I think they do. I think they need to score some transition goals, though. Like, I think they're going to need a couple goals from a Tarafanko. I think Withers is due to score like one of his sort of right off the draw, go in. He knows Matt Vince as well as anyone, and kind of maybe knows his weaknesses, if there's such a thing with him. But I think they're going to need all hands on deck. And I think a bigger night from the transition guys to chip in, 2 to 3 could be the difference maker. Yeah.
So my last question, and like I do all these interviews, it has nothing to do with the guest or the sport.
Mm-hmm.
If animals could talk, which one would you want to have the conversation with first, and why?
I'm guessing most people probably, do they say their own pets, their own dog and cats, or that's sort of the obvious one, because that would just make life easier if you kind of knew what they were thinking. Like, we have 3 pets at home, 2 cats we've had for the longest time. The one cat I can figure out, the other one I cannot figure out what she wants or what she's up to, so I wouldn't mind. And the dog is not, it's my son's dog, but I can kind of figure out what he's thinking. But I'm going to go with a raven, because they say a raven bird has a unbelievable memory and kind of like recognizes people and never forgets a face. And I think that would come in handy if I could hook up with a raven. Shout out to the Carleton Ravens of the CUFL, Canadian University Field Lacrosse League. Yeah, I'll go with raven. Has anyone said raven before?
So this is the first time I've ever asked it. The questions always change depending on, like, I just come up with random questions. So it's a different question every time I have a different, but yeah, I love the Raven. That was not anywhere near what I thought you were going to go.
What about you?
I love it. I didn't even know where you thought you would go, but I love the option. But Pete, thank you for joining us on the Buffalo Sports Collective. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you? Anything else you might want to plug for any of the listeners? Anything that you got going on?
Yeah, I guess you can find me. Instagram is just my name, Pete Dalliday at 77, because I locked myself out of my original Pete Dalliday account. So I added 77 on there. And yeah, you can find me there. And I just wanted to invite yourself to, I invited you to Halifax, but anytime in the summertime you get a chance to come up and watch an MSL game with the Peterborough Lakers, especially if it's against Six Nations or something like that, where there's a lot of Buffalo Bandits sort of connections to both teams. You're more than welcome. We'd love to have you. And go Bills. Always wanted to say that. If you can get me tickets to the first game at the new Highmark, that'd be awesome too.
I'll do what I can, but
All right.
with the way I've been talking about them this year, I don't think I'm on their favorite list.
You're not
so,
on there. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Well, thank you again for joining us on the VSC. Hope to talk to you down the road and continued success with everything you're doing.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
We will be back Friday to talk Bandits versus Thunderbirds. We will talk to you all then.